The day Hitler lost the war, but no one noticed, the war didn't end in Berlin. It didn't end with Hitler's suicide. It didn't even end at Stalingrad. In fact, by the time Allied troops stormed Normandy in 1944, the outcome of World War II had already been decided. Quietly, gradually, almost invisibly. Because there was a moment, one turning point, when Nazi Germany lost the war, and almost no one realized it. Not the generals, not the Allies, and certainly not Hitler himself. This is the story of that moment. In the summer of 1941, Nazi Germany looked unstoppable. France had fallen in 6 weeks. Britain stood alone, battered but not broken. And now Hitler launched his boldest gamble yet, Operation Barbarossa. 3 million German soldiers surged into the Soviet Union. It was the largest invasion in human history. To Hitler, it wasn't just a campaign, it was destiny. The Soviet Union, he believed, was a rotten structure. Kick in the door, and the whole thing would collapse. And at first, it seemed he was right. Entire Soviet armies were encircled and destroyed. Hundreds of thousands captured. Cities fell in rapid succession. By autumn, German forces had advanced over 1,000 kilometers. The road to Moscow was open. Victory felt inevitable. Moscow wasn't just a city. It was the political heart of the Soviet Union, the center of its rail network, the symbol of Soviet resistance. If Moscow fell, many believed the USSR would collapse. Even some Soviet leaders feared this. Panic spread. Government offices began evacuating. Foreign diplomats fled. For a brief moment, it looked like the Soviet Union might actually lose the war in 1941. But then, something began to change. Here's where the story turns. Instead of driving straight toward Moscow, Hitler made a decision that still confuses historians today. He split his forces. One group would push south, toward Ukraine. Another would head north, toward Leningrad. Moscow would have to wait. To Hitler, it made sense. Ukraine meant food, resources, and economic security. Leningrad was a symbolic prize, but time was not on his side. Every day the advance slowed, the Soviet Union grew stronger. Factories moved east, new divisions formed, reserves gathered, and winter was coming. This was the moment. Not a battle, not an explosion, not a dramatic collapse, but a shift in time. Germany had planned for a quick war, weeks, maybe months, not a prolonged campaign across vast distances. They hadn't prepared for winter. They hadn't prepared for attrition. They hadn't prepared for a Soviet Union that refused to die. By delaying the push to Moscow, Germany lost something far more valuable than territory. They lost momentum, and in war, momentum is everything. By October 1941, the Germans finally turned toward Moscow. Operation Typhoon began. At first, it was devastating. Soviet defenses collapsed again. Hundreds of thousands more were encircled. German troops could see the outskirts of Moscow. Some even claimed they could see the city's spires in the distance. Victory was so close, it almost felt unreal. But then the weather changed. The autumn rains came. Roads turned into rivers of mud. Tanks sank. Trucks stalled. Supplies slowed to a crawl. This wasn't just inconvenience, it was paralysis. The German army, designed for speed, was now stuck, and the Soviets were not. They kept reinforcing, they kept resisting, they kept buying time. Time that Germany could not afford to lose. Then came the cold. Temperatures dropped below -30°C. German soldiers froze in summer uniforms. Weapons jammed. Engines failed. Meanwhile, fresh Soviet troops arrived. Siberian divisions trained for winter warfare. They were equipped, prepared, ready, and for the first time in the war, the Germans were not. In December 1941, the Soviets struck back. It was sudden, massive, relentless. German lines broke. Units retreated. Some collapsed entirely. For the first time, the Wehrmacht, the seemingly unstoppable German army, was forced into full retreat. Hitler was furious. He issued a chilling order. No retreat, hold the line, or die, and many did. This was it, the moment Hitler lost the war. Not because Germany was defeated outright, but because its strategy had failed. The quick victory was gone. The Soviet Union had survived. And now, the war would continue. A long war. A war Germany was never designed to win. But here's the strange part. No one realized it. Not fully. The Germans believed they could recover, that next year would bring victory. The Allies still feared German strength. To them, the outcome was uncertain. Even Stalin wasn't sure the tide had turned. Because the war didn't end, it got bigger, bloodier, more brutal than ever. From that winter onward, everything changed. Germany was now fighting a two-front war, for real. The Soviet Union would not collapse. Instead, it would grow stronger. Every year, Soviet production increased. Every year, German resources stretched thinner. Then came Stalingrad, then Kursk. Each battle was catastrophic, but they were symptoms, not the cause. The cause was earlier. Moscow. Winter 1941. The moment Germany failed to win quickly and became trapped in a war it could not sustain. Hitler never understood this. He believed in willpower, in destiny, in sheer force. But war isn't just about strength. It's about logistics, timing, reality, and reality had shifted. Germany could still win battles, but it could no longer win the war. From 1942 onward, Germany was fighting uphill, against Soviet manpower, against American industry, against British resilience, and it all traces back to that one decision, that one delay, that one failure to capture Moscow before winter. History often remembers the loud moments, the explosions, the final battles, the dramatic endings, but sometimes the most important moments are quiet. A delayed advance, a miscalculation, a winter that comes too soon. The day Hitler lost the war wasn't marked by surrender. It wasn't announced, it wasn't even understood at the time, but it happened. And once it did, everything else was just a matter of time.